This was a lot of fun, this one. It took a long time with pandemic and two strikes. And so it was 7 years that we were working on Top Gun Maverick and this one. And so it was great. These sequences, I can't wait for audience to see it. I'm very, very excited. The underwater sequence they're going to see is, it's taken really years of development, really decades to kind of from one phase all the way back to Legend, and the underwater sequences that we studied and applied to this. Stuff that I'm now talking about that I didn't talk about for years was my dreams. And the times I remember being 4 years old and dreaming of making movies, and I remember being 18 years old and making taps and thinking, I want to do this the rest of my life. And this is my dream that I had when I was a kid, and suddenly it comes real. And that is the key. The key is that to reach for that, but also you have to work for it. And the thing is that it takes tremendous amount of dedication and passion, and but as I said, this is not my job. This is who I am, and it's a privilege. And people go, why don't you want a vacation? It's like, man, they don't know what it's like for me to be on a movie set.
Jumping out of a plane is your vacation.
Yeah, it is my vacation. And you know what, to be here and to be able to share it with people, this is beautiful for me. Oh my gosh, I had the barbecue today, and I was eating, I don't usually eat desserts, but I had to have these desserts today because we were working so hard. I thought, you know what, I earned it.
You earned it.
I earned it. I was like, I'm going to do it. I went in. I did it. It was amazing.
We love cake.
In Dallas, you got cake, but in Dallas, you also got to go for the barbecue.
Oh.
That's amazing. Amazing to be here in Texas and do this. You're going to see the film. I can't wait for you to see it. And hopefully on the biggest screen possible. Do I get afraid?
Yeah, do you get afraid? I mean, come on.
Do I get really terrified?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, sometimes you feel that, but it doesn't bother me, and it's something that the way that I prepare for things, I'm very methodical, and, I'd like to kind of crawl before I walk before I jog before I run before I sprint. I kind of work on gradients on things. Honestly, it's like I've just never been afraid to be afraid. It's not something that makes me not want to do something. If anything, I know the fear comes from an unknowingness, so I'm reaching for a knowingness with things. So anything that I'm taking on, and it's just producing these movies is going to be daunting. They're the most fun to produce. They're the most complex. There's so many moving pieces. Plus I'm doing and developing all the stunts. I'm working with McHugh. We're working on story and character, training and supporting the actors. Making movies it's amazing. The amount of things that I learn every single day. There's just constantly, there's not a day that I'm not studying something, I'm not learning something about people, about myself. It's very exciting, very dynamic. My whole life when I'm taking on anything, I feel that pressure because I want to deliver. I remember being 8 years old and cutting grass and wanting to do a great job and trying to learn how do I do a great job, and that's how I feel. Like I am someone who, that's not for me. I definitely, when I'm making movies, I'm making them, I'm doing things that I enjoy and I'm interested in, but I'm thinking of others, of, my crew and audiences and the studio, and that's kind of how I think about life. Oh man, and I am holding on. There's times like, and it was my arms, when I'm holding on to that wing, it was intense. There's so much happening on that wing when I'm flying. There's so many things that from decades of flying airplanes and aerobatic airplanes, parachuting, and just understanding cinema. So when that airplane and we're doing things on the wing, I'm also perceiving what that pilot is perceiving with the airflow over the wing to ensure that the plane doesn't go into a stall, into a spin, because that aircraft, if it goes into that, it's unrecoverable. So I also know my position on the wing and the amount of drag that my body's creating in various positions. So when you see that airplane and it's going inverted and I'm in between the wings, I know I can feel the airflow over, but I'm also paying attention to performance, the camera, where McHugh is with that camera, the aerial photography, plus, how that aircraft is performing, plus I'm acting for that lens and for that shot. So there's so many things that are happening at once, and it just takes years and decades of training and doing these things, and then development through this sequence, because I'm hired the pilots. I trained the pilots on how to fly those aircraft with me on the wing, and we worked together to how do we create these shots.